Umar Nurmagomedov called Merab Dvalishvili after their fight, and the conversation was anything but ordinary. In an exclusive interview with Georgia Satanta Sports, Merab shared an intriguing story about the exchange he had with Umar days after their bout. According to Merab, Umar reached out to him with a rather unusual request. After Merab's victory, he had posted a meme on Twitter that didn't sit well with Umar. The meme was a playful jab at Umar, and it quickly caught the attention of fans and fighters alike. Before their fight, Umar had shared a picture with UFC President Dana White and a matchmaker, showcasing his close ties with the UFC brass. After Merab's win, he decided to have some fun with the photo. He photoshopped his own head onto Umar's body in the same picture, and posted it with a caption that humorously suggested that now, Merab was Dana's friend, not Umar. The post was lighthearted, but Umar didn't take it that way. Merab revealed that Umar called him, asking him to take the meme down. Umar was visibly upset and even begged Merab to delete the post. Merab couldn't help but laugh at the situation. He mocked Umar for what he described as crying on the phone. Merab found it amusing that Umar was so bothered by a simple meme, especially after the fight was over. He didn't see any reason for Umar's reaction, and even joked about how Umar was taking things too personally. The reporter then asked Merab if he had any interaction with Khabib Nurmagomedov, someone Merab has shown respect for in the past. Merab responded by saying that they simply shook hands, and that was the extent of their interaction. He mentioned that because of the tension between him and Umar, the dynamic between their camps was also tense, but nothing significant came of it. Merab went on to express his respect for Umar as a fighter and a competitor. He acknowledged Umar's skills and never underestimated him. However, Merab emphasized that being a good fighter isn't enough in life. You must also be an honorable man, which, according to Merab, Umar unfortunately is not. Merab recounted the incident again, saying, "After our fight, I posted a meme on my page. It was nothing personal. It was a picture of Umar with Dana White and a matchmaker. I photoshopped my head onto Umar's body. Umar called me and he was very upset. He said, 'Please brother, there is no need for these photoshops.' He begged me to delete the post. He basically called me and started crying about my Twitter post. Can you imagine what would have happened if they had won the fight? They wouldn't stop on social media." Meanwhile, Daniel Cormier shared his thoughts on the ongoing back and forth between Dricus Du Plessis and Islam Makhachev. On his YouTube channel, Cormier warned Islam about the challenges he could face against the middleweight champion. Cormier urged people to stop underestimating Dricus, emphasizing that while his style may not be the most visually appealing, it is undeniably effective. He reminded everyone that Dricus has proven his doubters wrong time and time again, finishing both Israel Adesanya and Robert Whittaker, two of the best middleweights in recent history. Cormier acknowledged that Makhachev clearly respects Dricus, but he isn't sure if Islam fully understands just how difficult it would be to fight someone as big and physically imposing as the South African champion. Cormier pointed out that while Islam cuts a significant amount of weight to make 155 pounds, he doubts Makhachev even reaches 185 pounds at his absolute heaviest. Given Dricus's natural size, power, and relentless style, Cormier warned that a fight between them would be far more challenging than Islam might anticipate. "It's time for us to stop doubting him," Cormier said. "I mean, at some point we have to respect him, right? I know it may not look as appealing to some as they want their world champions to look, but we just watched him submit Israel Adesanya. We just watched him break him down over the course of 3 rounds and get him to a point where Izzy got submitted by him. Something we've never seen before. We have seen him beat Sean Strickland. We have seen him finish Robert Whittaker. At some point, we have to respect Dricus Du Plessis. I think Islam respects him. I don't know that Islam would understand how hard it would be to fight a guy of that size. I think this guy might weigh 220 pounds when he's not making weight. You know, many people talk about the amount of weight that the Russians cut, and Islam cuts weight to make 155 pounds. But I don't know that even on his heaviest days, he weighs 185 pounds. In other news, Renato Moicano opened up about his plans to improve after his short-notice lightweight title fight against Islam Makhachev. Moicano was submitted in the first round, but he's motivated to get better and make another run at UFC Gold. During the latest episode of his podcast, Show Me the Money, Moicano discussed what's next for him. He threw out the idea of traveling to different places to refine his skills with different teams. When co-host Gilbert Burns suggested that Moicano go to Dagestan, Moicano jokingly responded by referencing referencing a quote from Islam Makhachev. Makhachev had once told Daniel Cormier to send his kids to Dagestan to learn wrestling for 2 to 3 years and to forget about them. Moicano laughed and said, "I need to walk on this path, brother. I need to walk on this path. I'm thinking I have to go to some other places to train, like Brazil, train a lot of jiu-jitsu, or go to some place just for wrestling. I need to do it, but I'm not going to Dagestan for 2 or 3 years. Don't call anyone after 6 months, brother. I'm 45 years old." Despite the loss, Moicano didn't suffer any major injuries and was only handed a 7-day mandatory medical suspension, meaning he can get back in the octagon whenever he wants. However, it sounds like he wants to take some time to work on his skills before jumping back in. The MMA community had a lot to say about Conor McGregor after he made a series of controversial comments on social media, sparking outrage and disappointment among fans and fellow fighters alike. It all started when McGregor tweeted a prayer for Bryce Mitchell, writing, "A prayer for my God-fearing brother Bryce Mitchell tonight, who I know is a good man." The tweet seemed sincere at first, but things took a sharp turn when McGregor followed it up with a string of offensive and inflammatory tweets, including the use of racial slurs and derogatory remarks. The community was quick to react, with many calling McGregor out for his behavior and questioning his state of mind. Some speculated that McGregor's account might have been hacked, as the tweets were so out of character and extreme. However, others were less forgiving, criticizing McGregor for his continued fall from grace. Once one of the most respected and celebrated fighters in the sport, McGregor's recent actions have left many wondering what has happened to the former 2-division UFC champion. Anthony Taylor, a fellow fighter, didn't hold back in his response to McGregor. He wrote, "Bro, get help. You lost the respect of everyone in the world, even your wife. The better man won that day. Nobody wants to work with you. You're a high-functioning addict." Taylor's words echoed the sentiments of many in the MMA community who have grown increasingly frustrated with McGregor's behavior both inside and outside the octagon. McGregor's tweets also included a direct jab at Khabib Nurmagomedov, his longtime rival, as he taunted Khabib about his family, and even challenged the idea of a competition between their offspring. The tweets were filled with profanity and offensive language, further alienating McGregor from fans and peers. Many pointed out the irony of McGregor's initial tweet about Bryce Mitchell, which spoke of peace and unity, only to be followed by divisive and hateful comments. The MMA community was quick to remind McGregor of his past losses, particularly his humiliating defeat to Khabib, and how his actions since then have only tarnished his legacy. The backlash was swift and severe, with fans and fighters alike urging McGregor to seek help and change his ways before it's too late. Some even called for the UFC to take action, though Dana White has remained silent on the matter. McGregor's fall from grace has been a stark reminder of how quickly public perception can change, and many are left wondering if the former champion can ever regain the respect and admiration he once had. For now, the MMA community continues to voice its disappointment, hoping that McGregor will take a step back, reflect on his actions, and make the necessary changes to turn his life around. Finally, Alex Pereira has expressed interest in stepping into the world of boxing, specifically targeting none other than Alexander Usyk, the current heavyweight boxing champion. Pereira, who has been dominating the light heavyweight division in the UFC, revealed his desire to test his skills in the boxing ring. During an appearance on the Jackson podcast, Pereira's coach, Plinio Cruz, shed light on his fighter's ambitions. Cruz stated, "He's interested in boxing against Alexander Usyk. That's something he really wants, but he's on a contract with the UFC. We know McGregor did it, so maybe someday he will. He really likes to do it. Who would be a big fight for him in boxing? Right now, he's the champ, so he would like to fight the champ." Alex feels he could do really well. People talk about boxing, but boxing is one of his strongest parts. He thinks he could go toe-to-toe with Usyk. He thinks he's up there. Pereira's confidence in his boxing abilities is well-founded, given his extensive background in kickboxing, where he became a 2-division glory champion. His striking prowess has been on full display in the UFC, where he has knocked out some of the biggest names in the sport, including Israel Adesanya. However, transitioning to boxing, especially against a fighter of Usyk's caliber, would be a monumental challenge. Usyk, known for his technical brilliance and footwork, is considered one of the best pound-for-pound boxers in the world. Despite the the steep odds, Pereira believes he has what it takes to compete at the highest level in boxing. Unfortunately for fight fans, a potential showdown between Pereira and Usyk remains highly unlikely. The UFC has a strict policy against cross-promotion, and Dana White has shown little interest in allowing UFC fighters to compete in boxing since the infamous McGregor-Mayweather fight in 2017. While Pereira's ambition is admirable, the logistical and contractual hurdles make this dream fight a long shot. Still, the mere idea of Pereira stepping into the ring with Usyk has sparked excitement among combat sports enthusiasts, who are always eager to see how elite fighters from different disciplines would fare against each other. For now, Pereira remains focused on his UFC career, but the possibility of a future boxing venture continues to linger in the minds of fans and pundits alike. The MMA world is always full of drama, rivalries, and unexpected twists. From Umar Nurmagomedov's phone call to Merab to Daniel Cormier's warning to Islam Makhachev to Conor McGregor's controversial tweets, there's never a dull moment. And with fighters like Alex Pereira eyeing new challenges, the future of combat sports promises to be as exciting as ever.